was rereading Cider with Rosie, and I'd forgotten how funny it was, and I found this description of Laurie Lee doing like a gig, and it's got to be the definitive description of what it's like to get up and play in front of people, and I read this and it made me laugh so much I had to lie on the floor. So this is Laurie Lee, aged about 12, and his friend Eileen getting up to perform at the parochial church tea. He's shivering and chattering with nerves. The curtains part. The entertainment began with a comic I neither saw nor heard. For the next item, ladies and gentlemen, we have an instrumental duet by Miss Brown and young Laurie Lee. Smirking with misery, I walked to the stage. Eileen's face was as white as a minim. She sat at the piano, placed the music crooked. I straightened it. It fell to the ground. I groped to retrieve it. We looked at one another with hatred. The audience was still as death. Eileen tried to give me a B but struck A instead, and I tuned up like an ape threading needles. At last we were ready. I raised my fiddle and Eileen was off like a bolting horse. I caught up with her in the middle of the piece, which I believe was a lullaby, and after playing the repeats only twice as fast, we just stopped, frozen, motionless, spent. Some hearty stamping and whistling followed, and a shout of "Give us another!" Eileen and I didn't exchange a glance, but we loved each other now. We found the music of Danny Boy and began to give it all our emotion, dawdling dreamily over the fruitier chords and scampering over the high bits till the audience joined in, using their hymn-singing voices, which showed us the utmost respect. When it was over, I returned to my seat by the stove, my body feeling smooth and beautiful. Eileen's mother was weeping into her hat, and so was mine. I've got asked to do this gig at like a big posh gig at the Brunel Shed with a guitar orchestra, and I was really, really pleased to be asked because it was big and posh, and you know, I was a bit out of my depth really, but you know, worked really hard and I learnt the music, and I got there and I was really nervous, and there's like 15 guitarists and they all looked ferociously competent, you know. I suspect some of them could play jazz guitar, and but you know, I'd learnt my bit and it was all alright, and unfortunately we were able to sit down while we did the gig, which was good because I knew the backs of my knees were going to feel a bit weak. And but we got through the rehearsals and we had a couple of glitches, but I was alright, and I learnt my stuff, and I was waking up every night going, don't fuck it up, but I was getting there. And then in the last and then I fell fathomously in love with the conductor chap, Charles Hazel, because I didn't know what conductors did. I thought they just sort of kept the beat, but it's a bit more complicated than that. And it was he's so clever, honestly. Like, my bit was really hard, but I learnt it. But we were all playing in parts, and all the time signatures were really difficult. And he not only knew my part, he knew everybody's part. And it's like bringing people in and stopping people and making them go louder and quieter. And I was just like a kitten watching the washing machine, going, "Wow, you're amazing." And you know how attractive it is when somebody's really brilliant at something really clever that you can't do at all. So this is a dry mouth with passion and admiration for him. And anyway, so it's all going all right, and then the final rehearsal, there was a lull, and Charles Hazelwood said, "We need somebody to play an F as a drone in this piece," and his glance just fell on me. He said, "Hazel, could you do an F in this piece?" And I went, "F, yeah, F, okay, F." And I can play F, it's just, in my defence, we were playing with a little wooden stick, like a bottleneck, but with a wooden stick. So we started playing this piece, and I just had a complete sort of meltdown, and I was just sat there thinking, I don't know where F is when I'm playing with a little wooden stick. Is it the fret above where you'd normally fret the F, or is it below? And if I get it wrong, I'll play E or F sharp, and thinking, God, can I just turn my guitar down and play it really quietly? Maybe nobody will notice if I cock it up. I was thinking, fuck me, this guy he'd notice a raindrop in a monsoon. He's going to know if I do it wrong, and I don't know what to do, And I'm just, the blood's roaring in my ears, the corners of my mouth are tugging down. I'm looking at the guitar and thinking it's just a piece of wood with dots on. I could not have located F at that particular juncture if my cocking life had depended on it. And at some juncture, I just started thinking about my dinner, and then it was all over and it went really quiet. And Charles Hazel was just looking at me, and they were all looking at me, and he said, "Hazel, did you play that F?" And I said, No, I didn't play the F." And with a look of all sweet accord, he serenely and compassionately looked at the other guitarist and said, and he picked one of the other guys, he said, "Oh, maybe you and Hazel could play the F together, that'd be good, you know, you could cue each other in and you could do the F together." And so we did, that's what we did, and we did it again, and me and this other chap played the F together, and I located it somehow, and we did it, and we were playing it, and I was just thinking, I know this moment. This is the moment when I'm teaching primary school guitar club and there's some hapless child who really, really wants to play Winnie the Pooh in the primary school guitar assembly, and I know that there is no way under God's blue sky is ever going to pull it off. And so I go, Johnny, how about if you just twang an open E string on the beat? Brilliant. We really hold the group together, you know, it'd be really helpful. Or if circumstances are particularly tragic, I might just go, Johnny, could you just tap your guitar in time? It's called percussion, and it would be really useful for the group, and you could do that really, it would be great, you know. I am this small child at this juncture. I'm a little child who can't play Winnie the Pooh, but really, really wants to join in with all the others. And so anyway, we ran through the rest and it was fun, and I located the F and I did it with the other guy, and the big night came and there were a couple of thousand people there, but I was sitting down, so it was fine, and we got to the bit and I had to do the F, and this lovely other guitarist whose name I never learned but in my heart will always be the F man, smiled shyly at me and cued me, and we played the F together, and we were playing it, and I'm sitting there and I was thinking, I know this feeling, what is this? And I thought, oh God, it's that dream I have where I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm in the middle of Asda and I'm just sat there thinking, why did I think I could get away with this?